What up YouTube, Salvador Brinkman here, and today we're talking about how to make your very first audiobook. And this book is going to go on to Audible, could go on to iTunes, etc. This is a book to accompany, obviously, your physical book, or if it's an ebook, to accompany your ebook on Amazon, or at least that's how I did it. So what I did, I wrote this book, Nonprofit Crowdfunding Explained. I wrote this last year. I have a lot of knowledge in this area. I put it all together into this book, and I sold this book as an ebook on Amazon. So I put together the ebook. I also put together a physical copy using CreateSpace, and that's been selling very happily. I've been getting lots and lots of good feedback on my book, and I also have some other books out there. So I decided that personally, I also wanted to have an Audible version for this book. I had a lot of people who have been liking my podcast, who've been liking the information I put out on crowdfunding, so I decided to turn this book into an audiobook. And that's sort of where my experience is stemming from. So I sold this book, this launched, I think about a month and a half ago, and it's been going really well. I've been getting a good reception here. People are buying the book on Audible. It's sort of a clear breakdown between people who both have Audible accounts and people who are just buying the MP3 of the book and people who are buying it with their stored Audible credits. So you can see the breakdown there. But I'm going to be talking about how you can also set up this, how you can create your own audiobook, and how I have done it. So the first thing I want to say is this is the equipment that I used. I used a very simple Blue Yeti microphone. This is how I did all of the recording for the audiobook, and I used the QuickTime player that comes with Mac. So it's not like I'm using fancy stuff here. This microphone I bought a while back. I think it's about $100, maybe a little bit less on Amazon. I'll be sure to link that up in the description of this YouTube video. In addition, I used GarageBand to paste together all the various audio files for the book. And I can show you a screenshot here in just a second. There's also a really great YouTube video that I will be linking to that shows you exactly how to do this from step to finish. But I use GarageBand to be able to paste together these various audio files for the different chapters. And you're gonna have to do a lot of editing. You know, you're gonna mess up. Put it this way, you're gonna mess up, and you're gonna have to edit out all of these various pauses. Maybe you cough, maybe there's background noise, something like that. You're gonna have to do a lot of editing when it comes to the book. Personally, I found this to be the most painstaking part of producing the audiobook. It wasn't the talking, it wasn't the recording, it wasn't the sounding interesting, making sure my voice is communicating emotion. It wasn't that. The hard part was the editing, because I had to go very painstakingly through every single mess up and making sure that everything blends together nicely and that it cut together nicely. So I think that was the hardest part for me. And in addition to GarageBand, you will notice that ACX, the Amazon exchange, the website that you will use to upload all these various files, they're a little bit picky when it comes to the type of audio that they accept. And that, I mean, the minimum volume requirements, the peaks, and all of that kind of stuff. This is stuff I didn't really know, and I'm not more of a technical person when it comes to audio. So when I initially submitted the book, what I had to do was to decrease the volume for some of my clips and to make sure that the peaks were more in order. So I had to edit this, and I used Audible to be able to do that. So I first pasted together all of the audio using GarageBand because I like the user interface more than Audible, sorry, not Audible, I'm getting all of these mixed up in my mind. I like the user interface more with GarageBand than Audacity. Getting so many different pieces of software. Audacity is what I use to actually make this thing in their specifications and requirements. But GarageBand is what I use to put together all the different clips. And I found that to be the easiest way because Audacity doesn't have the greatest user interface there. So after that, I got all the specifications in order. I resubmitted it, and it was accepted by Audible. And then, maybe like 2 weeks later, it was distributed out. People can now get it on Amazon, people can get it on Audible, all these different other sources, etc. And I have been seeing sales for the book. So that was my basic process. It was relatively took about a month and a half, maybe 2 months to get everything in order. I think I could have done it in less time had I been doing that every single day. Like that was my focused task. You can probably do it in less than a month if you really focus on the task. But the biggest thing here that I want to share, and I can go way more in depth into the editing or my voice, etc., is the fact that when you promote this book, when it's finally out there, people aren't just going to buy it. You have to really put in marketing. So what did I do? I went on webinars. I was just on a webinar on nonprofit crowdfunding that had over 900 people show up, and I was able to tease this book. And I was able to say like, hey, if you want more advice like this, check out my new Audible book. And also with my email list, I built up a specific email list of people who were interested in the audio version of this book. Quite simply, on my podcast, I said, hey, I'm going to be coming out with a new Audible book in the next few months. If you're interested in nonprofit crowdfunding, you don't want to read the book, but you want the audio version, subscribe here and I'll let you know when it comes out. That's very simply how I built up the email list, making sure that I continue to share it and promote it on my various social channels, making sure that once I do go live with this thing, that I am going to get some initial sales because of that email list. That's how I promoted all of my other books as well. I have other YouTube videos out there talking about Kindle and CreateSpace, etc. So that's sort of my very basic book launch strategy. And I did it very simply, with this microphone, with my MacBook, with QuickTime, with GarageBand, with Audacity, with this book. That's all I did. Very simple to do. Now, there are some other options out there. You can hire a voice actor to actually read the thing. Obviously, that's going to take some work off of your plate, and it's also going to, if you aren't that great at reading, it's going to enable it so that your readers, your listeners, have a better experience with this voice actor. I didn't choose to go that route because I want to establish that relationship with the readers, but that's something that you can do. The other thing here is, I think the most intimidating part of the process is going to be the editing of the audio, because there are many specifications and requirements. So I will be linking to a fellow YouTube video, a YouTuber who put together a great YouTube video on this and understanding all these different audio requirements. But if you are interested in putting together an audiobook, if you are interested in launching an audiobook on Audible, and you want your word out there, you want your voice out there, I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I will be putting out more videos on how to actually do this and how to market your book, how to get more people interested in what it is that you have to say. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what it is that you're trying to create in the world, what book you're trying to write, etc. I would be happy to help you. Also, if you do want direct contact with me, if you want to be able to email me, etc., and have me as sort of a mentor on this journey, reply to one of the emails that I send out on my weekly newsletter. I'll include a link to that newsletter below, and if you want to get in contact with me, that is the easiest way. Just reply to one of those emails that I send out. It will come directly to me. But I hope you enjoyed a little bit of this overview, my process for putting together the book. My name is Sal, and I will see you next time.